Sherry, where do we move forward from here? What do you think we need to do? Because we do have a deadlock not only in the political realm but also in the realm of dialogue, and it seems like all too many people migrate towards the polarized extremes, where it's a narrative of recognition of one side and not the other, delegitimization of that side and not the other. And again, it's not that these are people. I don't even want to call it bad faith. It's just people. We are products of our environment, and when you hear your whole life a very specific narrative, that becomes the only narrative you know. So I think that that's where it is. We are currently taught conflicting narratives that do not accommodate for the legitimacy of the other side. So what can we do?
Look, I think in the first instance, what we need to do is we need to pump out a positive narrative in the marketplace of ideas through articles, blogs, vlogs, podcasts like these that create an alternative space within which this topic can be discussed. Now, creating an alternative space doesn't mean that more Palestinians have to agree with the Jewish Zionist side, or more Jewish Zionist side have to agree with Palestinians. People cannot be expected to entirely agree with everything the other side is saying. But it would be a very refreshing start if they can at least understand each other in their own words. It's like what I've said to you previously when we've had this chat. Like, say if, God forbid, you and I were in an argument and I had a certain view about what caused the argument, there is no use a third-party bystander going up to a Sherry Sufi and saying, tell me the world according to Adar Weinreb. And similarly, there is no point people going up to Adar Weinreb and saying, tell me, what is the world according to Sherry Sufi? How about go to Adar to hear Adar in his own words? How about go to Sherry to hear Sherry in his own words? So if at the bare minimum, we can encourage people, whether they're Palestinian activists or Zionist activists, to actually sit down and get to know each other's stories and the logic of justification that each side uses to explain away its worldviews, then we are in a much better position to ascertain what it is that is disagreeable and what it is that is agreeable. At the moment, I think sometimes what happens is you get people. I mean, look, it really, in fairness, Adar, it actually does my head in when I hear some of the views across the multiple sides of this conflict. There are basic bits of information that are just not commonly known. And they're not, I'm not talking about anything particularly surreptitious or esoteric or whatever. I'm talking about like basic stuff. For example, there are plenty of Palestinians who still continue to think that the ultimate goal for Zionists is to have them driven out, right? Mm-hmm. They believe this to be a far more magnified problem than it really is. And then what happens when you wake up with that assumption in the morning and you go on Google, you'll find, I mean, the Google is, it's very vast. You can find whatever the heck you're looking for. And so all it takes for such a Palestinian is to find one website or one quotation from one Jewish person who actually is advocating that these people should go to Jordan. And that's it. Khalas, as you'd say in Arabic. End of story.
Right.
Once you find that, it's like, khalas, see, I knew that this is what these people wanted. And and believe it or not, there is there are similar attitudes that exist across the other side too, where people will just say, look, these people, they have a religion that is supersessionist, it's subversive. They ultimately want a caliphate there, and that's what ISIS tried, that's what Al-Qaeda tried, and so their aim is to have Jews out of this land. And so you go on the internet and they'll find plenty of websites where you'll have Muslims and Arabs making statements that confirm whatever it is that you woke up this morning thinking. And that's it. You call that research, you walk away. And so you ask me, what can we do to fix it? I think at the bare minimum, we need to start encouraging people to be prepared to have their own beliefs challenged and have their own beliefs falsified.